I cannot over-exaggerate the impact of this technology on all of humanity. AI has been around since the 70s, but now the next model to come out, super intelligence, 180 to 200 level IQ models. You're going to be walking around with the Einstein of every topic in the world in your pocket.
I'm a flower shop. How do I use AI tools?
We have them available for our mastermind group people who just swear they've cut their workload 70, 80, 90% because of these GPTs.
It can brainstorm with you. It can debate with you. It can look things up for you. People who don't have it on their phone are fools.
We're entering into this next phase of true agentic AI, which means really no more prompting. Just asking for an outcome. And dude, it will give you some ninja shit.
What are some of the best actual uses for AI for the average business?
One of the coolest things that you'll find. Hey, this is Perry Belcher. Welcome back to the Trainwreck Show. I'm your host, the unstoppable force of marketing, here with Emma Rainville, the queen of ops, the immovable object of operations. And the answer to the age-old question, what if vampire bats were human? Welcome. How you doing, Emma?
I'm doing really good, Perry. You know what's so funny is someone asked me the other day, they were like, hey, how come Perry's like the growth guy? And I was like, it's an inside joke because of all of the growths he has in his very old body.
Aww, that's so sweet. All right. So today we're going to talk about something I love to talk about till I'm blue in the face, and that's AI and AI tools and what's bullshit and what's not and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, so one of the things that we keep getting asked over and over and over again is, at what point is all this going to slow down? And we try and tell people all the time, like, we're only at the beginning. We've barely scratched the surface of what all of this is going to mean. So I'm pretty excited about today. I never prepare questions, but I prepared some questions.
Sure.
And I prepared them based off of a lot of our Ignite and our Driven members, what they've been sending you and asking you, because if they're having these questions, probably a lot of people are. And so
your microphone condom is falling off there. I'm just saying.
So is yours.
I just noticed it. I don't know why. That's weird.
You've had a lot more practice than me, but you didn't do it as gentle. Anyway, so I prepared some questions based off of, some of our Ignite and Driven members, and I'm just really excited to dive into this. One of my staff just today was asking me, like, you're spending an awful lot of time with Perry. What are you guys talking about? And I'm like, dude, I'm learning
psychotic crap most of the
time. Memes. But in all seriousness, I'm learning so very much from you, from your community, that I don't know that I would possibly be able to, work my regular hours and keep up.
Yeah.
And so I'm loving that there's like this forefront for those of us who want to implement into our businesses and our lives and be able to grow. And then there's you and our whole team that's constantly trying to learn. So I'd love for you just to give me like a pretty brief overview of where AI is now, where you think it's going, and is there breaks?
Let's talk about where it was, right?
Hell yeah.
When I started on the AI trek was about 7 years ago.
First time I heard you speak on AI was 7 years ago.
The only people that were playing in the game at all were a few companies like Jasper and some people like that. Basically, the only way you could access AI was via an API. It was the only way. So I had some stuff that used API. Jasper used API. And then all of a sudden, ChatGPT said, hey, we'll stick a robot in front of that. We'll put a chatbot there. And then the whole world went, oh, wow, AI exists. AI has been around since the 70s, if you can believe it. Not at the level it is now, of course, exponentially growing, but not the level it is now. But it was there. And then ChatGPT sprung out of nowhere, and all of a sudden there was awareness. People saw AI in a practical way that they could use it. And we look back now at ChatGPT 2, and it was pretty freaking primitive. If you go back and run those models right now, you're like, that's stupid.
And that was blowing our minds.
That was blowing our minds. And now, if you look at the trajectory of the IQ or the intelligence of the AI, models that are out there. And when you're using ChatGPT, a lot of people get stuck on one model and only use one model. The default model is 4.0 if you're in ChatGPT. But there are all these other models in there that do different things.
We're actually going to do an episode on what models do what. Yeah.
Because some of the models do, I'm going to itch, sorry. Some of the models do.
That's an unusual spot for your herpes.
Isn't it? Right? So yeah, it's, she threw me off with the herpes thing. I haven't thought about that all morning. Okay. You
so
try to get it off your mind, folks. You really do. Yeah.
It's a lifetime sentence.
The models are all different, right? You see a shitload of Valtrax, right?
What's Valtrax?
Isn't that what they take for?
How the fuck would I know?
I assumed it. Anyway.
I don't know why you would assume that.
So yeah, there are different models for different things. But what's interesting, the trajectory of the intelligence of the models, we're in an arms race, right? This is an arms race between a handful of trillion-dollar corporations and B, a shitload of billionaires, right? And they're all out here in this massive arms race. I just saw this morning where Claude is just bringing out a $200 a month Claude.
I have their version of Operator, autonomous agent.
And they're saying now the next model to come out, which is actually going to be GPT-5, they're going to skip a generation.
Right.
And it's going to be $20,000 a month.
I thought 3 was going to be $20,000.
They say they're going to release 3 to everybody as of like yesterday.
And that has an IQ of?
3 has an IQ of 157. So if you look at...
So just for people who don't know IQ numbers, Einstein was 142, I think.
141, 142 is anything over 140 is considered genius.
I think Einstein was 141 or 142.
So I tell people all the time, it's not like you're going to be walking around with Einstein in your pocket. You're going to be walking around with the Einstein of every topic in the world in your pocket. And you're crazy. If you don't have ChatGPT on your phone right now, what the fuck are you doing? It's just insane.
I showed it wasn't last night, it was the night before. I was outside with my son Magi and my husband Gabriel. And my son Magi, he was like, he's back home and he's been gone for some years, right? So he's back home and he's out back with us. And you've gotten really good at arguing. And I was like, that's because I have the argument first. And he said, what do you mean? And I said, the first thing that I do when I know that I'm going to get into an argument with my husband
is fact check.
Is I'm going to go in and I'm going to do, you ready? I'm going to do exactly what I do.
How do I win this argument?
No, I have the argument first. And I just say exactly this. Hey, chat, get a minute to brainstorm with me?
Hey, absolutely. What's on your mind?
Hey, so I'm about to get into an argument with my husband, and I just want to talk it out so I can make sure that I'm right.
Got it. What's the topic you two are debating?
So he keeps buying too many groceries, and it's just so wasteful. We end up throwing them away because none of it gets cooked and it goes bad first. So I really want to not only home in on the amount of money that he's wasting, but also the socioeconomic hurt that it's doing to the universe.
That's a solid point. You could approach it by highlighting the financial waste and the environmental impact of food waste. Maybe bring up a meal planning strategy to reduce waste.
Ooh, that's really good. Let's go back to how he's wasting money. If he's wasting about $125 per week on groceries, how much is that a month?
If he's spending $125 a week, that adds up to about $500 a month.
And a year?
Over a year, that'd be around $6,500.
And over 10 years?
Would that pay for my Valtrax?
Over 10 years?
That's $5,000 over a decade. Definitely up.
It's a Tesla.
Yeah, it's a significant chunk. Pointing out that long-term cost might help emphasize your case.
Thanks, Chad. I just won the argument. But that's my point is, it has so many uses, though. I've been in the car driving and needed to find a hotel. And hey, where's the closest hotel? I can pull over, or I could die, or I could have it do it. I could be in the middle of a meeting and pull it out on my phone. It has so many uses. It can brainstorm with you. It can debate with you. It can look things up for you. It can do so much. People who don't have it on their phone are fools.
I don't think people that have ChatGPT, a paid account, if you don't have a paid account at ChatGPT, I don't know where you're at.
My son Magi has a paid account and he works at Whataburger, so I don't know.
If you've got a paid account, And most people don't even know that you can chat with the account like that. There's a little microphone icon to the right bottom of the thing where you can just have a conversation.
You have to turn it on. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and I'll make a screen recording of how to turn it on, and we'll have it over the podcast on YouTube. If you don't know how to turn it on, you have to turn it on first, and then you have a microphone, and the microphone is talk to text, and then there's a wave that looks like the audio wave when you're recording, and that is how you talk.
It's really interesting. If you're on a long road trip, you can just talk to that thing the whole time you're driving. It's crazy.
It'll teach you all kinds of stuff. And you notice that mine was, I got a black Australian. That's what I wanted.
Surprise.
But you can.
I'm shocked.
But you can choose.
In your mind he is, right?
In my mind he is. And Optimus has a tongue. But you can make them whatever soothes you, right? Like you can make it a female from London. You can make it a man from Ireland. You can make it an American. You can make it anything you want. You can give it accents.
Sure.
You know, the whole thing. I happen to be soothed by that. Yeah. But it can give you directions, which I get it. There's maps that can give you directions, but there's just so much you can do with it hands-free.
We can't ask a map a follow-up question, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, it's really crazy, like where we are now. They were saying that we would be at AGI, which is artificial general intelligence, which means that the AI is smarter than the average human by 2030, a year ago.
Yeah. And now it's smarter.
We've already greatly surpassed that.
Yeah.
So we're headed now toward super intelligence, 180 to 200 level IQ models that are going to come out that can solve problems in milliseconds that would take supercomputers 10,000 years to solve, which is crazy.
Yeah.
That you can actually do that now. So I think that before people go buy a lot of other tools, OpenAI is really versatile. It used to not be great at images. Now it's the best model at images. It used to not be great at video. Sora is still not the best at video. Runway's a little bit better, but Sora's really, really good. And my guess is the next update of Sora, they'll probably take that.
Well, ChatGPT also couples with CapCut now. Yeah. So you can connect it to CapCut and it uses the prompts. And it actually, in my opinion, it's better than Runway.
And I think most people don't understand what GPTs are. That's like the next level of using ChatGPT, that you have all these GPTs, and these are just pre-programmed little tools that everybody with a ChatGPT account, even a free account, can use those tools. If you have a paid account, you can build those tools. And what you're doing when you're building those tools is you're training a model on special information and special instructions to deliver you back the same results every time. And you can load in a prompt that could be 7 pages long, and it delivers this big, complicated, very specific outcome that would take you a long time to prompt each time by just hitting a button. Or in some cases, not even hitting a button, just dropping in a file. Like I've got GPTs where I can drop in a file and say, rewrite this for me, or analyze this for me, or summarize this for me, or take this and create that. And I create a lot of custom GPTs, which is basically like little mini pieces of software. And we give a lot of those away. We sell some of them. We have them available for our mastermind groups. And they get thousands of uses every day for people who just swear they've cut their workload 70, 80, 90% because of these GPTs. So that's where we are now. We're entering into this next phase of true agentic AI, which means really no more prompting, just asking for an outcome. And the AI is smart enough that it can produce that outcome. OpenAI has a very primitive version of this called Operator. I know that you use.
I'm in love with Operator.
You'll be in love with Operator until you use Manus. Manus is way better.
I already have Manus, but I run out of Manus. So I do agree with you. Manus is great, but I run out of Manus. Yeah. Manus is incredibly expensive right now. Yeah. I run out of tokens.
And they'll be competitors to Manus very soon.
Yeah. And I like Operator because Operator on my $200 account it's going right now downstairs. Yeah. Right this minute.
Then you've got beyond that, you've got a whole new suite of tools like N8N and older versions Make that are these super automation tools.
N8N is very interesting. I want to stick to AI.
Yeah. It's an orchestrator of AI. And then you go to MCPs, which is a whole nother story. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah. All right. So let's get to some questions.
Sure.
What are some of the best actual uses for AI in modern workflows for the average business.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks it's for writing and
Sure.
they use it like Google. I'm a flower shop. How do I use AI tools?
Yeah. One of the coolest things that you'll find if you're a flower shop trying to figure out how to use AI tools, I would go to OpenAI and say, I'm a flower shop wanting to use AI tools. How should I do that?
Can I challenge that a little bit?
Sure.
Something I've recently been working on is having AI help me with the prompt. GPTs are promptless. You don't have to worry about the prompts anymore, but what you get
I write all my prompts with GPTs.
Yeah.
With models. I write my prompts for my GPTs with OpenAI models. So it's like you can use the thing full circle.
Yep. So if you're not sure how to prompt it, if I just say I'm a flower shop,
Yeah.
it's really not going to give you good outputs.
Yeah.
But if you say, I'm a flower shop who's trying to implement ChatGPT in my everyday workflows to make my time more efficient and my profits higher, I need you to help me write a prompt. What questions do you have so that you can help me write a masterful prompt? And then it'll ask you a ton of questions.
Yeah.
Where are you located? What kind of flowers do you sell? How do you bill? What kind of automations do you currently have? What ESP are you using? It'll ask you a ton of questions. You fill out all the questions, and then it'll give you about a 2-paragraph beautiful prompt that you'll then put inside, and it will tell you all of them, and then it'll ask you, and this is really incredible, how can I help you next? How can I help you automate? And you can literally say, I have Maker, I have Zapier. Can you write me the code to automate in Make and Zapier?
It's getting better and better.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I was fooling with something. I was writing some emails, and it asked me at the end of the emails, would you like me to upload these to your ESP and queue them up for delivery times?
Yep.
I was like, wow, I didn't know you. One of the things that I've learned, sort of along the lines, and you can approach this, her way of approaching it, my way of approaching it, doesn't mean either way is wrong or right. My way is probably right.
So I'm going to say your way is definitely going to be better than my way.
100%.
Your way, the way that you're saying it is the pro way of approaching it. The average flower shop person doesn't know how to create a GPT, let alone use what you're talking about. So I'm giving giving a very dummied down version for people that don't know how to use those tools so that they can get started.
One of the things that I think people don't do enough with any AI is ask the AI a lot more than you tell the AI. Because most people say, I want you to do blank and blank. Normally, if I do that, I'll do it and it'll give me a result. And I'll say, now, what should I have asked you to do that I forgot?
Yep.
If I want this outcome.
What is it you always say? It's start with the outcome, add in the context, and then ask the question. Yeah.
And the thing that's really interesting too that most people don't do is ask what I call a topper question. So when it gives me an answer back and says, okay, here's how to re-engage a dead Facebook group, let's say, because I was working on a project like that. And here's how do I revive a dead Facebook group. So it'll give me, I asked him but much more complicated question than that, but it gave me a really cool report. I said, now tell me, this is great, but now I want all the secret stuff, the stuff only the top tier agencies use, the secrets, the tricks, the hacks, the almost gray hat, almost black hat stuff that people use to get extraordinary results really, really fast. And dude, it will give you some ninja ass shit that you would have never thought about in a million years because nobody asked that one level deeper question. Does that make sense? When I have it create personas or customer avatars, it'll tell me the name and the age of the avatar and all those things. And you've seen me do this before. And then it'll give me this big long avatar on somebody. People are like, oh, that's amazing. And then I'll ask at the end, now that's great. Now tell me how my writer or ghostwriter or whoever, how can they connect more deeply on an emotional level with this avatar? What's this avatar's secret dreams that are so big they won't tell their best friend? What's their secret fears that keep them up at night? What is it about their upbringing, their biases, their beliefs that may freeze them from taking action? And it'll give me this whole nother level of deep psychological analysis. You're saying, what could you use it for? I think that creating a customer avatar based on, if you don't know exactly what you're looking for, look at a competitor that you have that you really admire and say, I really admire purple mattresses and I'm green mattresses. So I want you to go to Purple Mattress and tell me everything you can tell me about the buyer avatar for Purple Mattress. So now you've got...
Now you know your target.
You know your target or your competitor, and if you're targeting the same market and that's the leader in your market, they're probably doing something pretty damn right. It's amazing at creating like website structure, like when you're creating a website, SEO for a website, you need the proper hierarchy, the structures, the categories, the subcategories, the title, it can do all that in seconds. You can say, these are my top 5 competitors. I need to beat them at SEO. Give me the perfect structure to beat them before I build a website. Blech, there you go. Yep. All stuff that would take.
And then go write the blog post
all
for
SEO
right. with all the keywords to get you there.
And you can, I think we did a talk on this, I don't know if we did or not, but about humanizing the outcome.
We did that at Make It Real when we did our in-person. We do an in-person event called Make It Real. We bring students in for 3 days in Austin, and we teach them how to create all of this for their business. That's where we did that.
Because we make the content that I produce, if it's written content, like for blog posts or whatever, it shows as being completely human written. And not completely. Almost nothing shows as completely human written anymore. Even if you wrote it and never looked at AI for 1 minute.
I wrote a bunch of stuff, and it was funny because the stuff I wrote for AI was 96% human, and the stuff I hand wrote was 81.
Yeah.
Just so stupid.
There's no real filter for this. This is a fuzzy science right now. But there's all kinds of ways to humanize. Like for my cooking, I own homemaderecipes.com. So my homemade recipes newsletter is written by someone who sounds oddly like Paula Deen. You saw a book that I wrote yesterday. This, hey, sugar, I'm tickled pink to be here.
I'm so excited.
I'm tickled pink, she says.
I'm tickled pink to teach y'all how to make my blue brownies.
So it's really cool. So you would never see Tickle Pink as a AI produced piece of content, right? So you get this personality out of it. That the output of the AI is going to be equivalent to the input, but there's all sorts of other things you could do. You can build. I took a website that I showed Emma the other day that I liked. I screenshotted the website, fed it to Claude, and Claude built me an exact duplicate framework of that website. So if I want to go make a website similar to that one, I have the CSS and the framework and the code and the HTML already built in 5 seconds. If I want to make software, I can do that with Claude now, but also with narrow apps. What I think you're seeing, and I think that you had mentioned earlier, you were going to ask about like sub AIs, like things that do specialized stuff, right? Are you better off to stick with the big models like OpenAI, Claude, and Gemini, and maybe Grok if you're counting Grok, or maybe Deep?
He ended up stop using Grok. I started
Grok has a really good one.
Okay, well, we'll talk about it. I started using ChatGPT and Grok at the same time, and I have the $200 version.
Sure.
$30 is $30 is $30. $30, $60, $40, $20.
It adds
up. We did our quarterly. Let's go through our bills, and when my
I know
team,
you're kind of poor.
I work with you. I'm not poor, but I'm wise with my money, and so our team was
Jewish.
Was that necessary?
Yeah.
So what's the use for Grok, Perry?
I'm talking about the use for the others.
You said there's a use for Grok.
There is, but we'll talk about Grok in a second. A lot of people are buying little submodels without having explored what the big models can do. And these big models have billions of dollars in investments. $750 billion so far put into OpenAI.
Yep.
Billions put into Meta from Facebook. And that's the one not to sleep on. Keep your eye on what's going on with Meta. What's good about Grok, it has no guardrails. So you can ask Grok, tell me the black hat hacks to do this. That thing will teach you how to make dynamite at home in your kitchen. It'll do anything. So if you need because some of the models, I don't feel comfortable answering that. Claude's particularly sensitive to, I don't want to tell you I'll sometimes say, how do I hack the system? Oh, that hacking the system seems to be manipulative and we don't want to
I've done a lot with, I'm a student and writing a paper on.
Yeah, you can get it that way. You can get around it.
You can get instructions to build a pipe bomb that way.
But I'll tell you,
if you word it.
But I'll tell you, Grok will just tell you First,
Well,
get a
of
pipe.
course it will. It's Elon.
Go get a pipe. Bigger the better.
Go get a pipe, get some nails, get a bunch of...
Yeah, exactly. It'll tell you everything you want to know within a couple seconds. So when I get stuck on a thing where it doesn't want to
So
answer
Grok
the
is for
question
pipe bombs.
Okay, yeah.
And methamphetamine.
Yeah. I promise you, if you go ask how to make methamphetamine at Grok, it would probably give you the formulary for it.
No way.
I bet it does. I've not asked it anything it hasn't answered yet.
Can I tell you, I have not either. I haven't really... I've played a lot more with ChatGPT months ago when these conversations first started.
But ChatGPT has features most people don't use. It has the best image generator in the world now, 100%. But its image generator, the best one, is in its oldest model, 4.0. So if you don't know which model to ask for the image in, you're going to get a funky image. If you want to use custom GPTs to do repetitive tasks where you just don't have to prompt it every time, those are amazing. It also has something in it called projects, where projects are like an advanced version of a GPT that you can use the more advanced reasoning models for, and you can add a lot of training to. I create brainstorming groups of 15 or 20 deep research experts in a room so that I can get advice from billionaires on something, or advice from scientists on something, or advice
I have my strategic brain trust.
Yeah.
I know you have your copy posse.
Yeah.
So I have my finance team.
Yeah. So you can, and once you've got those experts in there, you can get them to debate amongst one another.
I'm doing a tax strategist now. I got a whole bunch of tax strategists. Yeah. I got it because everybody thinks your CPA is. I'm not going to get on that. That's not. But you need a tax strategist.
There's the deep research feature.
And what's the best model to use deep research in for? Right?
No, the best model for deep research is 01 or 4.5.
Okay.
4.5 typically delivers you the deepest
critical
research.
Thinking. Yeah, it's a critical thinking one.
But if you've not used deep research yet, you just type a subject, hit the little blue button that says deep research, and it'll take 15 or 20 minutes, but it'll produce you a 30 to 50 page report that you would have had to pay a bajillion dollars for.
I will say this, I stopped doing that, and I started asking it to ask me questions. And it'll ask me like, what are you using this for? What are the outcomes?
It always asks me those anyway. Ask me 4 or 5.
It usually asks 4 or 5, but when I
got a little trick for deep research too. I'll share in a second.
Oh, I would love to hear that. But recently I started doing ask me questions so I can get the most out of this. I'm about to use this to put in a project so that I can get strategic business advice for planning or whatever it is. And then it'll ask me, and I'm telling you, like 20 questions.
That's a great idea.
And I'll get these reports that are very focused and narrow, rather than he went to school at, right? So, what was yours, though?
The thing with deep research that I'm using right now, I just started doing, like literally in the last few days, because I watched somebody that said to do this. When you do your deep research report, let it run. And then when it's finished, it gives you this big, long 40, 50 page thing. Say, now write that up for me in a McKinsey style report.
Wait, I want you to say that all over again.
So deep research is going to go out and create this research report for you.
Yep.
It's going to be 40 to 50 pages long, but it's going to deliver in your chat window.
Right.
You follow?
Yep.
I used to just save that over to a Google Doc and save that for training purposes for later, and I still do. But if I'm going to use that to teach a class from, or to train employees from, whatever, I have it write it for me. I say, now that's great. Rewrite that for me in a McKinsey style research report. So McKinsey is the #1 consulting firm in the world. Their research reports cost
$10,000 to $60,000
more.
Really?
Oh, a lot more. Like they do feasibility studies for cities that are $500,000.
That's true.
That they
businesses can get them for 10 to 60.
Right.
But yeah, that's true. The government is going
to. It'll produce that for you, just like it came from McKinsey.
Wow.
And it's incredible because McKinsey has this thing called the pyramid writing style that's really incredible. That is great at delivering executable clarity out of big data. So when you ask for it in McKinsey style, you'll be blown away with what you get out of your deep research reports. But they also have things like tasks now where you can ask ChatGPT to run repetitive tasks for you on a daily basis. Yeah. And there's Operator, and there's Sora, and there's Whisper. And
if you learn how to use tasks, honestly, I think that a lot of people try and use tasks for things that they should be using Zapier for. So let me know when my ClickUp tasks are overdue. You should just have a Zapier automation or a make automation that goes directly into your Slack. So I think tasks is something I actually want to tackle with you on a whole podcast.
Yeah.
On
I don't know much about
proper
tasks, to be
I
honest.
do.
Yeah.
So I'll
Yeah.
show you, and then you can be the one to look
Things
smart.
that I'm seeing now that are really remarkable, these big automation platforms like Make and AN, you can actually take an automation, a multi-step automation, 100 multi-step automation that you see a picture of now. This is what sets N8N apart from Make. You can take any automation. You see these ones on YouTube video. You can stop the YouTube video, screenshot that automation, and drop it into ChatGPT now and say, make me a JSON file of this automation. And it'll write a JSON file. You can upload that JSON file in N8N, and it will build the entire automation for you in less than 3 seconds.
Huh.
There's just so much.
Yeah.
And again, like Emma said at the very beginning, this is the dumbest the AI is ever going to be. We're at the beginning. I don't know if we're in the beginning, middle. We're not at the end for sure. I think we're
scratching the surface.
really early. I cannot over exaggerate the impact of this technology on all of humanity.
Yeah.
It's a GPT, a general purpose technology. There have only been 8 in our history. That the first one was that kind of big one, fire. There was fire. There was the wheel. There was the steam engine. There was electricity. There was telephony. There was computers. There was the internet. And
The
now,
industrial age, you missed like the largest.
well, I said the steam engine.
Oh, you did.
Steam engine, industrial age. But there's only been 8 of those in really all of history. And we're living, surprisingly, in 2 right now. You're living in the AI age, and robotics is right on its heel, because the AI is a brain in a jar. It can't actually do anything without being connected to a robot, either a soft robot or a hard robot.
Yeah. I want to kind of wrap things up here.
Sure.
You actually answered a lot of these questions while you were just talking. Would you agree that there is going to be a massacre of livelihoods? Can I answer that before you do?
Sure.
I think that there is going to be a massacre of livelihoods, but I think there's going to be 2 kinds of people. There's going to be people who refuse to learn and refuse to adapt that are going to be in trouble. And I think there are people that are going to learn to master AI, and as many jobs as it takes, it's going to give. Just as in the
it's just a matter of the equilibrium of that. It will definitely be out of equilibrium for some time.
Yes, but it's going to take some time. You have a McDonald's next to your house
With no people in it.
with no people in it.
Except customers, pretty much.
Everything is robots.
Yeah.
Everything is AI. Everything is robots.
Fast food's going to be vending machines. They're big vending machines.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you see more and more of it. It is interesting, but we don't want those jobs anyway. That's a thing.
We don't, but and forgive me, you can come at me in the comments all you want. People working fast food are skillless people. So when skillless people don't have an ability to have an income, it creates a type of drain on society, as well as increases crime, as well as. So while we don't want those jobs, we didn't want to be picking strawberries or dig ditches either, but it needed to get done. The impact on the economy and humanity would be great. So
the economy is going to be, in my opinion, the economy is going to be so robust that there will be a lot of spending from the top that the down gets, right, to some extent. There will almost surely be a universal basic wage, whether anybody likes that or not. No matter if you like it or not, it's probably going to happen, because if you don't, you got 38% of people without a job.
You've already got people working flipping hamburgers making $20 an hour.
The worst we've ever had in the history of America is 25% unemployment during the Great Depression. You're about to be faced with 38% potential unemployment.
But while companies are reporting record profits.
Right. But what's interesting, if you don't listen to Naval's really brilliant, but he said something the other day. I was listening, and he said, there's an abundance of knowledge available to all of us today, but there's a great shortage in the desire to learn.
Oh, wow, that is so good. That's a writer downer.
Most people that I talk to about AI that are in the private sector that aren't in our space, they just don't care. They just don't care at all. They have no interest. My kids don't care at all. I can show them how to do certain things, and they're like, yeah, okay.
I got 2 that are like, and I got two that are just all like my two engineers.
Well, they're in
course, are all
tech, right? Yeah.
I got two engineers that are all in, and I got two lazy asses.
But there's going to be a great division between the people who learn to use that and the people who don't.
Right.
But I don't think it's going to have. The big difference is going to be. How do I say this? Gosh, if you look at people that grasp the internet early,
right.
What happened to them?
Right.
They did extraordinarily well.
They did extraordinarily well.
The people that grasped it late.
People who were average that grasped the internet early did incredibly well.
Any average person can ride the wave of a new technology and do extraordinarily well. There's a guy in our business, I'm not going to say his name, but I've known him forever. He's a goofus. He is just a goofus. But he's always on the next thing, right? And the other day, I got a call this morning from somebody said, I just went to work for this guy. And I said, yeah, I know that guy. He's kind of a doofus. He said, yeah, but he's killing it right now. He's doing this thing with AI and they're building this thing. And they're doing like $1 million a month. And I'm like, get the fuck out of here. It's just like you can be, if you give me a machine gun against a bunch of soldiers with pea shooters, guess what? I'm going to mow them down. I got the technology, right? So it doesn't really matter. Your skill level is going to matter far less. The quality of the questions that you ask, are going to be one of the biggest determining factors of how well you do in this next round, and how quickly you adopt and stay a couple of steps ahead. I bought a robotic arm for my house so that I can learn how to program G code for robotics. I don't own a robot right now, but the estimate is within the next 3 years, the average home is going to have three in the home, robots in the home.
I'm
so
excited for
three robots in the home. So
I'm excited for it.
We won't be doing anything that we don't want to do pretty soon. You're talking about like a $20,000.
I don't do anything that I don't want to do now.
$20,000 price tag, and that's going to plummet because there's a $6,000 Chinese competitor out there that's almost as good for $6,000 today. So you're going to see these things they're going to be like robot vacuum cleaners before long. I think
we have robot vacuum cleaners now.
They're going to be
they're literally called robots.
They're going to be as common as robot vacuum cleaners.
Sense. But you already have that. So you have that in vacuum cleaners. You have that we own that company that does lawn services. It drops stuff off. You have all that now. This is going to be so much bigger than that because this thing's going to be able to chop onions, cook your food, grab your groceries, put them away. You're going to be able to download. This is the part that, like, if you haven't gone to the Gigafactory in Austin and taken the tour on what Optimus is going to be able to do, I highly suggest you make time to do it because it's incredible. And so you're going to be able to buy.
We should take our driven people there.
We really should. Damn it!
It's a great idea.
That's a great idea. So for $149, I'm making that price tag up. They said it'd be anywhere from $99,000 to $10,000 depending on what it is. You'll be able to buy software that your Optimus will be able to plug into. By the way, there's no computer because your Optimus is a computer. Your Optimus will ask your permission to buy it. You'll say, yes, Optimus, your shit's already loaded in there.
Can I learn Spanish?
Charges your account. Oh, I didn't even think about that one.
I'll learn to play the
piano. But it'll download everything that I need to know about my home HVAC system to do the preventative maintenance on my HVAC system, or if it breaks. I mean, plumbing.
Yeah.
And this is cleaning your pool.
There's already stuff going on now.
This is mind-blowing.
With augmented reality, virtual reality, where they're sending service technicians into the field for.
But you're not even going to need people anymore. These are going to be robots that cost you $20,000 to $40,000. And guess what? They don't sue you when they get hurt. They don't get sick. They don't screw up.
The big thing about AI and robotics that are different than any other technology ever in history, both of them, they build upon themselves.
Right.
People are using AI to build more AI. That's the reason they said they could build DeepSeek in China. They built it for not very much money. That next weekend, MIT built a version of DeepSeek for $60 just to show them who cares, no big deal.
Right.
Because the old version doesn't matter. When you're in the AI business, the version you had last week
is old.
It's irrelevant. The new model comes out. Claude just released its model. It's supposedly the smartest model in the world now. Gemini released a model 2 weeks ago that was now the smartest
I'm
model
speaking
in the
at
world.
an AI conference in August, and they were like, do you want to send over your slides in the next 30 days? And I'm
No
like,
way.
no, absolutely
Yeah.
not. I'm gonna demo for people. I'm not gonna talk. I'm gonna demo for people. I have no idea what's gonna happen. I'll let you know about a week ahead of time when I'm gonna talk about. I can tell you it's gonna be AI in operations.
Yeah.
That's about all I can tell you right now.
Real quickly, there are some uses. Claude is really good at writing.
I want to be careful because we're doing a whole episode on what to use each thing for and what to use for each model for ChatGPT. So I want to save. I want to save. All right, Perry, take us out, man. This has been great. Wait. What are we going to give them for a tool? What's their freebie for listening and going to www.trainwreckshow.com? What's their free tool today?
Why don't we not give them a free tool today? And I will give them a free tool, but why don't we send them a video of me building custom GPTs?
Oh, hell yeah.
And then we'll give them my GPT builder.
Yeah.
Because I've got a GPT builder.
Yes.
Too.
Okay, so here's what you're going to do. You're going to go to
www.trainwreckshow.com, you dipshit. You don't even know the name of your own damn. How much tequila do you have in your coffee?
It's Bailey's.
Is it?
That's why I told Gabe to make it instead of you. www.trainwreckshow.com. We have a free tools section.
Yeah.
Go ahead and click that. There'll be a video of Perry building GPTs, and we will have a GPT builder, a custom GPT builder in there for you. So head over.
Building GPTs is kind of like building your own AI employees.
Yeah. By the way, we never try and sell anything over there. It's completely free. We're just appreciative that you came and listened.
Every other place in the world. Yeah.
Yes.
But go get all the free stuff you can get. Excellent.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thanks.